Hi everybody, this is June. You're watching a live Facebook video on my Stamp with June business page. I'm going to make a card today. I had made a couple of cards, very similar if not the same, and I decided I wanted to do it in a set of 4, so I'm making the third one, and each one is a different color. I used the Lots of Leaves stamp set for the background and the Gorgeous Leaves for the front of the card. Okay, of course, as I go along, I'll let you know what else I used. And today I'm going to use Coastal Cabana. That's going to be the main color. Using Coastal Cabana, basic white and black. Okay, I do have some other sample cards I already made to show you, but I'll save them till the end of the video, and you'll see what I mean when I say I'm making a set, because they definitely all look pretty much the same except for the colors, and that really changes up the cards a bit. So let me get started by saying hello, and if you don't know me, that's because I never do Facebook Lives. But I do run the Stamp with June groups. This one, I run a Stamp with June group on Facebook. I also run a paper crafting, Stamping Up style on Facebook. My blog is stampwithjune.com, and you can order products from me from Stamping Up because I am an independent Stamping Up demonstrator. All right, so enough of that. If you are interested in my business, you could go to stampwithjune.com and find out all about me and what I have to offer. I have classes and specials and whatnot. Okay, so let's get started. I said I was going to use Coastal Cabana, so we're going to start out with the base card, 8.5 by 5.5. I scored it in the middle. I will fold in half and use my bone folder. Okay, get a nice crease in that so it looks real crisp and professional. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is do some background stamping on the Coastal Cabana card front, and I'm going to use the Love of Leaves for that. I'm going to use this stamp, okay, and I have it already mounted on my block, so let me get started with that. I've been fooling around with colors and background stamps, and I'm enjoying it. I've been relaxing a bit the past couple of days and playing with colors, which is my favorite part of Stamping Up, because they do have 50 colors, you know, and every color seems to have an enormous amount of product to go with it. Paper, designer series paper, embellishments, ribbon. You'll see I'm going to use one of everything today. Okay, so stamping on the cardstock for background. I will be using a scratch paper because like this I'll be stamping off. Okay, it didn't get on the card too much, but I want to cover the background. I want it to look random. Don't want it to be too fussy like I worked all day on it. And I tend to turn my card when I do it as opposed to turning my stamp. Well, I turn that too, but I don't want them all going in the same direction. So let me put one here and one down here. And I think I'm done, okay? Because we are going to be covering a good portion of the card with our embellishments and sentiment. So that's the background card. Am I going to be using? I don't think I'm going to use the Coastal Cabana stamp set ink pad, so I'm going to put that away. Well, now I have going to use Pattern Party Designer Series paper. Now I know the Pattern Party Designer Series paper is a host gift. When you have an order of $300 or more, you can purchase this. It's a big pack of paper, and it comes with all kinds of patterns. It's really cool. I get a lot of use out of it for you know, the particular themes that you don't have designer series paper to go with. So you have all these colorful patterns, and on the back of each paper you have black and white patterns. And that's what I chose to use with my black, white, and Coastal Cabana card, is the leaf print. Okay, so that's the Pattern Party Host Designer Series paper set. So I cut this to go on the card. I'm using a landscape portion of the card. Instead of going portrait, we call that portrait, I'm going landscape. That's what I was trying to get out of my mouth. I have my designer series paper. This is just 1 inch by 4 1/4 inches, which is the size of the card front when you go that way. I'm just going to apply that with some, okay, where is it? I'm going to use some Stampin' Seal, and I will put that down right about here, right about there. So that was easy enough, right? Stamp, designer series paper. I did use Wink of Stella on my other cards. I put Wink of Stella on some of the leaves. So very quickly, I'm going to just put some Wink of Stella. And this is some glimmery paint that you can make anything sparkle. Yeah, you can make your grandkids sparkle if they're being bad. Or your kids, or your husband, make them sparkle. Put some sparkle in your life. Okay. All right, June, that's enough of that. So this gives anything sparkle, and I'm just painting it very quick because I know my other cards, I used it. So Wink of Stella, sold in the Stampin' Up! Annual Catalog. Okay. The next step is going to be a scalloped, what do they call it? Scallop Contour Die. Okay, it is the 3rd largest of the dies. These are really pretty. You get a lot of use out of them for the front of your cards. I used the 3rd largest die, and I will show you that as soon as I find it. Okay, so here is the Scallop Contour Dies. Comes with these great contour rectangles. I used the 3rd largest, which is this one, and I die cut it on the cut and emboss machine out of basic white paper. Okay, so that is part of the front of our card. I also used our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine to run an embossing folder through the machine. This is called the time-worn type of embossing folder, and that puts really, really nice texture on it. So whatever you're embossing, you place it in and you run it through the cut and emboss machine. Okay, so that's been already embossed. I've already cut it out from my die cut and emboss machine. That's going to come on the front here. But before I do that, I'm going to do a little stamping. I'm going to stamp 3 leaves. Okay, I'm going to use the Coastal Cabana again. I was wrong, I needed it. Okay, I've got the leaves from the Gorgeous Leaves stamp set. I've got 3 different styles of leaves. And no, I don't know the names of the trees they came from. Okay, so we've got that. Isn't that pretty? That Coastal Cabana. Ooh, love it. Love it. And that one. And this one. This color is just so vibrant, and to me, it makes me happy. What could I say? I was a Crayola kid. I loved those crayons and all those colors. Give me a box of 64 and you wouldn't see me for days. Okay, so I stamped the leaves. We do have coordinating dies that go with that Gorgeous Leaves stamp set. Here's the coordinating dies. They're called Intricate Leaves dies. It is part of a bundle. If you buy the stamp set and the dies together, you get a 10% discount. But I'm going to use this for the leaf to cut out. This one fits over here, and this one fits over here. So I'm going to run them through my die cut machine. Maybe not right this second, because here I go, I've already prepared them. So that's how I got these nice shaped leaves. This here is distracting me with that. So let me get rid of that. Although this, no, I think I'll get rid of that. Okay, so that's going to start us off. They're going to be put and arranged there, but I still want to cut out some intricate leaves. And that is going to come from the same intricate leaf dies that goes with the Gorgeous Leaf stamp set. I'm going to cut these out of basic black cardstock. Okay, so I run them through my Stampin' Up! Cut and Emboss machine, and I get these two intricate die cut leaves in basic black. Aren't they pretty? Yeah, it makes that Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine really gives you a nice cut. Sometimes you got to poke out little bits, but not too bad. It cuts really nice. Okay, so that's going to be part of the card like such. Okay, and we'll arrange them the way we want. Before I start pasting or adhering anything down, I want to do a little splatter on this. Sometimes when I have a white background to sentiment, sometimes the white looks a little stark to me. So I'm going to get back my scrap paper and I take a Stampin' Right marker, okay, the same color, Costa Cabana. Like I said, Stampin' Up! Has everything that matches, which to me is heaven. So all you want to do is take the brush end and flick it off the cap. I just want to splatter some colored dots on there. So I'll show you after I'm done. Splatter, splatter. I think that's actually good. You don't want too much splatter, just enough to give it more dimension. See? So I put the splatter on the Scallop Contour Rectangle Die, cut basic white, and I embossed it with the time-worn type embossing folder, took the marker and made some splatter on it. Now we're going to build up the leaves on this, okay? What I always do is do a dry fit, what I call it, and I think I hear other people call it that too. So I want to try how I would like to arrange them. So I will do, like I say, a dry fit. I'm going to be stamping my sentiment actually over here, which is something I should have done to begin with, because I should have stamped it the very first time so it would have a little spot of its own, but I didn't. I'll get over it. I'll use black. We'll use black at the end and we'll put a sentiment there. So the white part is not going to hold the sentiment. So we just have to arrange the leaves without worrying about some additional elements going on there. So yeah, so just kind of arrange them. And sometimes I like to put on the card front actually, because you could get a better idea of the finished product that way. And I just fool around with these is all I do. Fool around, how do I like random, you know, what'll work best for me to adhere it. Sometimes to adhere layers like this, it gets a little tricky. How do I get them on without moving them? That's the trick. Okay, so I like the way that looks. Okay, so the trick for me is to get them on there looking somewhat like that, and then I could I like to adhere them all together so that when I put it down on it's the base of the card, in this case the scalloped rectangle die, they'll all be gathered together. So this is what I do. It doesn't always work. I'll put my fingers on the front, come up from the bottom. I keep trying to hold it the way it is. See, and I didn't. See, I moved, but that's okay. That's okay. No, see, I moved. That's okay. Take a little extra time to make sure. I don't want to go through all this work and not have it turn out the way I wanted it to. So we'll try again. And sometimes, you know, if you just, sometimes the first time you put them down, they look really good. And then if you have to do it again like I do, it's like, gee, it didn't look as good as the first time. But I'm going to do my best. Again, I'm going to pick them up. Make sure I'm holding them. Now this is what I do. I use old reliable Scotch tape. When it's not going to show on the card front, nobody's going to see it, but it's going to cover all my elements to get them together so that I can maneuver them. Okay, so these are all, not saying they're on there so they won't See, look, one of them came off. Don't worry about it. No, don't worry about it. Okay. All right. All right, so basically I remember I wanted it like this. All right. So what I'll do then, you know, I tried my best. I did what I thought would work, but it didn't. So I'm just going to take a little glue and adhere it to the side of this one. My goal is to get them so they're all adhered to one another before I put them on the card. This way I know how they're going to look. And also I could put dimensionals on the whole batch of them rather than individually. Okay, so here's some more glue. I'll be right back with you. I got it down here. Put that on. Okay, hopefully they're all on. So they're all on together. I like to adhere them, like I say, in a group. And then it goes down on the paper that I want it to shine on to look pretty. Okay, so I'm putting dimensionals on this whole thing. You want to be careful not to add the dimensionals to where you can see the dimensionals. So what I'll do is put the dimensionals on the lower portion of that. Where'd they go? Okay, so I'm going to take, I know this won't show up in the front. It's a solid piece of the leaf. The same with this. And I'll try to get one up here as best that I can so that it doesn't show through. And that would be over here. So that's 3 dimensionals and some Scotch tape. And now I could place it on my stitched rectangle scallop die. Okay, I like to use the take your pick tool on, well, everything I do I use to take my pick tool on, but to get the backings off the dimensionals, pick it up with my finger. Again, I like to see where it's going to be on my card. So let's say I'm going to put it that way, and I'm going to maybe give it a little tilt this way. I'm going to add a bow here, so I want to make sure. All right, so there you go. So when you're doing your placement, it's a process. You have to do a dry run to see that the finished product is going to be what the result that you wanted. Okay, let me stamp the sentiment here right now before I forget. I'm going to use Memento, which is our basic black. It's not base, it's called Memento Tuxedo Black. And the greeting I'm going to use is going to be from the Love of Leaves, which is what I stamped the background stamp with. And I'm going to use, of course, an acrylic block. I'm trying to get a hold of one that might fit. I think I'm going to put down, let's see what we got. I thought of you today. I'm just looking. I'm so glad you're in my life. I think this one would look nice. I'm so glad you're in my life. So let's say that would be this one. So I peel that off. These are photopolymer stamps, okay? We do have the cling stamps, which have a look of red rubber because they are red rubber. So I'm so glad you're in my life. I'm gonna use Memento. I think it's the first time I use this stamp, so, okay. And I'm going to stand up for this because I want to get it straight in the corner. I'm so glad you're in my life. Okay, the top, that's good. Put that aside. So now we can adhere this onto our card. And I will do that with dimensionals. You all know what dimensionals are. They're these little two-sided with adhesive pop-ups. We put them on the back of the elements to lift them up off the card, so it gives it a nice amount of depth in the card, so the card doesn't look so flat. Whenever I have new ladies in a class and they use dimensionals for the first time, they think that's the coolest thing. They say, look, what a difference that makes, and it does. Okay, so I'm going to place that somewhat in the middle. Try the best for the middle. And that is the card, but I do have 2 more things to add. I'm going to add a bow, and I use this little jig. It's called a bow jig, all right? Somebody made it for me. They do sell certain things like this on Amazon. Don't spend a lot of money on a whole big bow maker, though. Just a basic, simple bow jig, okay? I have my bow. I ran around the back. I pull it up through the middle, and I'm going to tie a knot. Okay, very easy. Very happy with the bow jig because I can make these pretty bows and they come out just the way I want them. See, everything's in place. The tails are down here. So that's a bow jig. Like I said, somebody made it for me. It's just some wood with holes drilled in it and 2 nails. Okay, this here I think is 1 inch, and then everyone after is a 1/2 inch, the holes. So I'll place the bow exactly where I want it, which is right about here. Now what happens to my nice little tails? Okay. All right. I want to make sure. Yeah. All right. I hope I'm still in the camera. When I use ribbon, 99% of the time I will use glue dots, which come on a roll of 1,000,000. I don't know how many, but a lot. Again, I use my Take Your Pick tool to take off the glue dot. Put the glue dot on the back of the ribbon, on the back of the bow, on the knot. Make sure it's stuck a little so it doesn't stick on my finger. Take Your Pick tool, and I place it where I want it, which is basically right there. Okay. And when I do bows on cards, I don't trim the tails till it's on the card so I could see how long I actually want them. Always cut it on a slant. You cut it any way you want to. Some people cut dovetails, but I just cut it on a slant. One more thing, and then we're done. And then I'll show you the other cards that I did with the same look, but different color. These here are called matte black dots. They are embellishments that we have in the annual catalog. And they already have an adhesive back to them. So I'm just going to I always like to do it in 3s. There's larger ones and smaller. I'm going to take a larger one. Take your pick tool. One end has putty. Simply slide it at an angle, slide it off, and put it down where you want it on the card. Isn't that cool? So again, we're going to take some smaller ones. I'm going to take it, slide it from the side, and place it there. And another small one, slide it out, I guess right here. Okay, so there's the finished card. I hope you like that. Not real crazy about the way my stamp came out, a little darker than it did at the bottom. I had a little too much pressure on one and not the other. But c'est la vie, it's still beautiful, okay? So that's that finished card. Let me clear up this table a bit, and I want to show you the other cards in different colors that I made from this. Sometimes I get into just very basic colors, not too much, not too busy. And once I get started on one color, I want to make 1,000,000 cards in all different colors. So I will give this as a gift set to somebody with 4 cards. 1, 2, 3. And I still have 1 to make. So what do you think? That's the finished product. And that's the different colors, looking so very different. I used what's this called? Melon Mambo, all right, with a happy birthday stamp. This one's Mango Melody. I really like this one too. It's kind of a color either you hate or you don't like it. But I happen to like that a lot. And the coastal blue, of course, is heaven. I love that color. Maybe because I live in Florida by the beach. I don't know. I love it. So I hope you liked my video. I will put a little information about me in the description. You could maybe link over to my blog. If you want to go to my blog and join, that would be great. So have a great day. And thanks for stopping by on Stamp with June. So long.